And today on Whisky News, our new segment for regular updates on the whiskey world. That's killed you already, hasn't it? Pete, we're professional newscasters here. Come on, man.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm somewhat of a big deal. Hello. Right.
Yes, Whisky News. So we will start our new segment, hopefully giving you regular updates as to anything going on in Whisky News. These are very important glasses.
How much energy juice have you had today?
I only had one. Anyway,
You shouldn't have any. You're like a
Pete,
kid
we're news people.
on blue
We're
Smarties.
news people,
You really
right?
are.
The thing is, this is actually serious. It's like I've got important topics here.
You said that right.
I know I said it. First in Whisky News.
Whisky news. Dun, 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 dun.
The US has suspended whiskey tariffs, which is good news because it means it's cheaper to put whiskey over to America, which I have heard was causing a little bit of an issue with exports over to the States.
Cool.
Trump's
Trump's gone. Everything's getting better.
Well,
literally.
no, it's a long-term thing, but it's to do with airlines actually, or airplane makers. It's between Boeing and Airbus. Was like an EU issue, or something like that. But basically, like one country is giving benefits to one company, not the other, and the other country is doing it back to their competition to spite them. And affected by that were not only whiskey, but also cheese, cashmere, and machinery.
Machinery.
It's
So just all machinery.
just machinery.
all machinery.
Yes.
Cashmere
And cheese.
and cheese.
And whiskey.
So cheese and whiskey.
I mean,
That's important.
for Scotland.
Cashmere, probably.
Not
it's
fussed.
probably my favourite Led Zeppelin song. But other than that, I'm not really that bothered.
No.
Machinery parts. All right, cool. Not just all machinery.
Machinery parts is what I
That
seen
could be a big
when I look things up.
thing.
Yes.
All right, cool.
But now that's gone, so hopefully this means whiskey exports are a bit cheaper. It means we can export more, which is fantastic for the industry. Next in Whisky News.
Bam! We should get like a backing thing. Anyway.
I don't know, dude. I haven't got a big enough green screen.
No.
It's gonna work. So I was looking up articles and stuff for this back in October 2020. All that time ago, there was an article in Architecture Design magazine.
Why were you looking in Architecture Design magazine?
It wasn't. It was an article that came up as I was looking through these things. And the reason I bring
You
it
don't
up.
read that.
No, I don't. I mean, you and your glasses might. You need a turtleneck, but other than that, you might. But the reason I thought was funny is because
Me, my secret window look.
the top 3 whiskies they had to try, which I do all like. I like all of these whiskies. We've drank them many times, but they're all from the same company. They're top 3 whiskies to try. I was trying for dramatic. Did that work? Are Aberlour, Chivas, and Glenlivet. All fantastic whiskies, all from Pernod Ricard. So I think Architecture Design magazine have to admit they're sponsored by Pernod Ricard at this point.
I'm confiscating the Iron Brew energy drinks. I'm just saying that right now. Yeah. So top 3 whiskies by Architecture What?
I read it when I'm on the toilet.
So, what? So is that our architects have rated their top 3 whiskies, and
The
that's
magazine
the architects drink?
that is marketed to architects say the top 3 whiskies to try are Aberlour, Chivas, and Glenlivet.
It's the wankiest thing I've ever heard.
Yes. Anyway, so 2 new.
So Aberlour, lovely. Chivas, lovely. Glenlivet, lovely. Strangely, Pernod, still awful.
In other news, 2 new port Skeg.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it right. 12-year-olds have been or will be released shortly. A bunch are going to America, but a bunch are also staying here. A bourbon cask and a sherry cask one.
Portskeg's a famous area in Islay,
Yes.
where other distilleries are.
I'm always iffy about these pronunciations because I'm terrible at it. Camera 1.
Yeah, I know. I just can't remember which one it is.
I don't know. But so they're releasing 2 new 12-year-olds shortly, or have been released. I'm not entirely sure on the dates. A bourbon, a cask, and a sherry.
I think it's Lafroig. It's Portskeg. Anyway,
Okay. So they'll be quite nice. I'm looking forward to trying those.
Yeah. Portskeg drams themselves are very, very nice. I've tried a couple of them. Tried their cask strengths. Really, really nice. Good stuff. Good, nice, light, oily, peaty bad boys.
Absolutely.
Well done with that.
Distillery news.
Woo!
Bimber Distillery, which
Bimber.
are down by London.
That's a river, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But they're down by
Bimber.
London.
Pretty sure the Bimber's a river.
They have applied for plans for, or they have plans and have applied for permission for a new distillery in Speyside. Dunfield Distillery will be
English distillery building in Speyside, you say?
Sons of bitches. No, I have no problem with that, quite frankly, because it's a new distillery. So now this is where
Good luck setting up next to your neighbours. Although everyone's really nice in Speyside, so they're probably just going to be like, "Hey, where are you from? We don't care."
Yeah, have you got nice whiskey?
Sorry.
Come on. So it's going to be a craft distillery, which sounds, I know, but it could be really nice. And
they're all craft distilleries.
No, I know.
Every distillery is a craft distillery.
I think they say it because their volume's really low, so they're only going to be producing 200,000 litres of whiskey annually.
This.
Do you like it for the drama?
I like this. There's a new way for me to express my disdain at things, and it's for me.
You can pretend you're thinking. Yes. Anyway.
Nah, I think that's okay. But
okay, well, so it's going to be up. It's Dunfield Distillery, just south of Forres, and they're going to have a 200,000 litre a year capacity.
200,000 litres a year.
That's not massive.
I know.
So that could be quite an interesting one to go after. Looking forward to it. It's going to be like some years till we're able to try that. It's not even built, not even started building. Don't even have permission yet. But
craft is a thing they say when
I know.
When you're making such a, I understand that you're making such a small amount that you've got to take proper care over it because you've got such a small amount. But like, meh, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Well, in other distillery news, the Falkirk Distillery have finally started distilling.
Huzzah!
Yes, so they are building on the go. Now they've just started. Now it was delayed because of COVID. As with a bunch of stuff.
Can you imagine how under lock and key a new distillery has to be in Falkirk?
but they're up. So they have two the mash turn and the two stills from the closed Caperdonic distillery. They have those.
Cool.
And the
Really?
And they're...
Shit, I should have read this before we started. That's really interesting.
One of us have done the research. So the mash and the two stills from Caperdonic even. See now this is where this capacity. So they're going to have the capacity for 2 million litres annually.
How are they making it?
What?
Doesn't matter.
Graham Brown is the distillery manager. He has previous experience with Deanston and Tobermory, so he's got a fantastic experience there. She will be really interested to see what's coming out of them. Again, it's going to be one that we're going to have to wait years for.
Caperdonic.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Caperdonic.
Well, there you go then. So their stills are back in use. But they're going to obviously be. You're probably looking at. They might release an early one. I think it was an Isla one that did that. It could be like a 5-year-old or something like that to get them going, and that's still 5 years away.
That's very cool.
Mark this date.
As well. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool.
I like that a lot.
So, you know, we did an episode of Drams and Bams on Japanese whiskies.
Yes.
So I have Japanese whiskey news if you'd like to hear it.
Japanese whiskey rules.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's not a statement. It was more of a subheading.
Because I written it down. He's just written Japanese whiskey rules. I thought that was just the whole thing.
It's a subheading, not a statement.
On to the next.
So at the moment, there's not very many rules as to what constitutes a Japanese whiskey. Like, for example,
you mean by that in like to make something single malt Scotch whiskey, it has to adhere to certain rules.
Exactly.
That is, it
now
has to
in
be
Japan,
100% barley. There can be no add. It has to be matured in oak for at least 3.5 years. I think.
Currently in Japan, there are fuck all rules. The only rule they got is that it can't use rice. Which sounds sort of like a stereotype joke. It's not. That is the only rules. That it has to be made from a grain. You can't use rice. That is the only rule they got. But they're updating the rules. So the rules come into play this April, and companies have until March 2024 to comply with them.
It certainly makes Japanese whiskey an element of its own.
Yes.
It was quite.
I think it's a really good idea. I think
whiskey bar, like whiskey bars, when Japanese whiskey was really just starting to sort of make itself known to people, and it was cheap. It was really nice, and they had that kind of reverence almost, where they're like, oh yeah, now we know you guys are well, so, but this is, and it was almost like say it was almost reverent.
Yeah.
Their entry into like the industry, where they're like, yeah, we're obviously we'll try and do it as good as we can, but now it has like a name of its own.
Absolutely.
And I think these having their own rules as to what constitutes a Japanese whiskey.
Would you like to know the rules?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, of course they do.
So the raw materials must be malted or other cereal grains, which is really specified, but that wasn't sort of one of the things earlier. The water must be extracted in Japan. The cask size is limited to 700 litres, and it must be aged for 3 years. It also must be at least 40% ABV. It can still contain caramel colouring, and it doesn't have to say, but that part is the same in Scotland.
Yeah, so they basically just picked up the same rules as we have, but it's Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fantastic, because Japanese whiskey is incredible. It's incredible in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful
absolutely.
stuff.
So
and the fact that they are going to take as much.
They're regulating it.
Absolutely, which is it means it's gained some notoriety. It's gained some. It's been validated, and now it needs to maintain this kind of.
And the thing is,
and leave it to the Japanese.
These kind of things are important, because this is how you end up keeping the product name intact. Like Scotch
consistency.
Yeah, Scotch whiskey has to be a certain way, and to keep it that level, the high bar that Scotch whiskey is. Tequila has rules. It has to,
person protected designations of origin.
Exactly. So now the Japanese whiskey you've got in there, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ecotourism Awards.
Oh.
I know, right? I knew you'd like that. So Diageo have added. Yeah, I know.
I'm only kidding.
No, but I like this. So
Lagavulin. Diageo make Guinness.
Lagavulin, Blair Athol, Oban, and Clonish have received the UK's highest ecotourism award. Which is obviously to do with their recycling, and they have to reforest certain areas and protect peated areas and things like that. Which is
a friend of mine from my old work works at Blair Athol.
Oh, there you go then.
Derek.
Oh, okay.
If you're watching, Derek. Good work. Well done.
So there's only 12. No, sorry. There's 8 distilleries that have this award in the UK. 6 of them.
Ecotourism.
Yeah, 6 of them are Diageo.
What's ecotourism?
No. So it's an ecotourism award. So it's just like a touristy type place that also is following nice.
So there's loads of
ecological.
There's a lot. Was it North British? I'm fairly certain it was North British distillery. I read about the. Basically, they use the chemical the heat from the chemical reactions involved in distilleries to heat the school next door.
Well, there you go then. Well, that would be the type of thing.
And like obviously all the draff goes to feeding cattle.
Yeah.
In a lot of places,
There you go.
and lots of distilleries have a symbiotic relationship with the places.
Well, this is
them.
like the official way of doing it. So Blair Athol gave their pot still, their old pot still, they gave that to be used as an animal feeder.
Well, there you go.
Which makes sense. And it basically, so by doing that, they saved like trips to refill smaller feeders, so you've got this massive feeder instead.
Certainly
so
one
it's
of the ones that
all good forest growth, wetland protection, recycling, that kind of thing.
I remember was like a grain distillery heating a school next door because of the chemical reactions involved and the power and stuff like that, and feeding cattle with the produce from like the spent barley and the draft and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's lots of them do that, but that's really cool.
And the last piece of whiskey news have Conor McGregor.
So not like the second last.
No, I've already done that one. I skipped it around a bit.
Oh.
Conor McGregor, his whiskey I've not tried.
Proper 12.
Yeah, that one.
It's called Proper 12.
Yeah, that one.
You don't like it in the same way you don't like the that football man.
David Beckham.
That's the one. David Beckham.
So his involvement's now in question. Apparently, I don't fucking.
Why
is
it in question?
I don't know.
Is it because he's a terrible person? Or
he's not. He punched an old man.
Yeah. But I mean, if it makes you feel any better,
he got knocked out.
He got just destroyed.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. That does make me feel better. So
I
anyway,
want to try his whiskey though.
But so
Proper 12, it's called.
But so
It'll be
basically
a
his
triple distilled Irish whiskey.
it is, yeah. So his involvement is now in question. So he started.
What was his
it with-
involvement in it in particular? Is it like
so he put the money up. Well, him and his
put the money up.
manager or like management company, they
yeah, but
fronted
he's
it,
not-
and it was
he's not
no, he wasn't there advising how to make it or anything like that. But it's his name's on
I
it.
guess now that he's not, I guess now that he's not winning.
Quite frankly, he had a questionable character at best. He punched an old man in a pub because the old man told him to fuck off when he wanted to buy him a drink. Well done, old man.
But the thing is, have you watched the video of it? Have
Yeah.
you seen it?
Yeah.
The old man didn't even flinch.
No.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. The old man's just like,
good.
oh.
It's really, really good. I'll admit to being a bit of a UFC fan and stuff. And you know what? Like, see if I have to get up at like 9 o'clock in the morning and go to work. And I mean, it hasn't been like that for a while. But and I'm like, oh, Facebook. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here's a video of Conor McGregor getting beat.
Why are you standing
I'm going to
up?
stay up and watch it. I don't know why I'm standing up.
There's a news desk. We don't stand up at news desks.
Sorry.
Right. Anyway,
That's it.
over to Buster for sports.
He's asleep.
So I'll edit this bit.
It's fine.
Or I won't get footage of him. We'll just fucking leave this in because we look like dicks. Thanks,
it,
Buster.
Whiskey News.
Thank you. That's all our
Remember-
whiskey news. We will try and do this more regularly. It's probably easier for us to do because we don't have to drink during it. We did, but we don't have to. And we'll keep you up to date on anything else we find. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you
Take care.
enjoyed this. We will speak to you all very soon.